Hey everybody, how's it going? Josh here, and welcome to the first 2020 episode of the HNEpod here. And today I'm joined by a special guest, Jackson, who I'm going to let introduce and say a little bit about himself. Jackson, welcome to 2020.
Hey, same to you, Josh. Great to be in a new decade, new year, fresh things. Hopefully, everyone has a positive year. If you don't know me, I'm Jackson Hayes. I'm editor-in-chief of FullCircleCinema.com, and I'm a features editor over at CBR.com. So I'm all over the place, doing work around and keeping up to date with all the movie nonsense and stuff. So yeah, we're excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so obviously we have tons of stuff to talk about today with the year wrapping up and the new year beginning, not even just new year, new decade beginning. And if 2020 is anything like the 2010s, I can't even imagine what this will be like in 2029, 2030 when we get to that point. I mean, the change that we've seen in the last 10 years is just insane, both with the streaming stuff and just movies in general, I think. Like the cinematic universe, how that's become such an expansive thing across multiple studios. It's just kind of blows my mind to think about that. Really, a lot of these they were around 10 years ago and more, but they weren't nearly the same type of machine they are today.
No, I mean, 10 years ago, at this point, we were at Iron Man 2 in the MCU. And I mean, looking
Yeah,
back
just
at
about
that,
that.
yeah, it feels like 100 years ago. So, it's so different now. I mean, the world is immersed in this universe and in the Star Wars universe. We've had an entire new trilogy of movies within this decade and two solo movies that have come, or two spin-off movies that have come out. Now we're moving on to the Disney Plus shows, and we've already just finished the first season of The Mandalorian. 10 years ago, I would never have thought we would have gotten a live action Star Wars series. But now we've already finished the first season of one, and another it's coming back next year, and there's two others in the works. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
The topics we have here today, for those who like skipping around to certain things, if you're listening to the whole thing on SoundCloud or Spotify versus the different segments on YouTube, the first topic is going over top 5 anticipated movies / TV shows for 2020. Then the second topic is just kind of looking back at 2019, saying what we thought was, or I guess what we thought was the best and the worst movie / TV show, respectively. And then we get into some news discussions because Disney Plus has kind of announced a few things, and then some of the Disney Plus Marvel shows have had things which I guess technically are currently rumors, but seems pretty trustworthy to believe 95+% it'll probably happen. And then last but not least, since both Jackson and I have seen Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, we're just going to talk about it a little bit. Some final thoughts since we've had time to marinate post viewing the movie. And yeah, that's about it. So getting into the first topic for top 5, Jackson, you're the guest here. I'll let you go first. What is your top 5 anticipated movies or I guess TV shows for 2020?
Yeah, so I know everyone, and a lot of people that listen to your show and read your site. A lot of people listen to my shows and read my site. It's all it's very comic book oriented, very Star Wars oriented, very big blockbusters. But I'm going to talk about one movie, just little. I mean, everyone knows about this, but it's Christopher Nolan's Tenet. The trailer came out recently. It looks like a mind bender. It looks very Inception-esque. Something that every movie that comes out from Nolan is a hit. And This one looks to be no different, and very excited to see John David Washington in the leading role alongside Robert Pattinson, and the cast looks amazing, and it looks like it's going to be one of those to remember, and I'm just excited to get to it in 2020.
There's a theory about that. I don't know if you saw it, kind of going into what maybe it might be about.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff online. It's hard. It's hard to avoid.
Yeah.
That's maybe it's a spiritual sequel to Inception or a direct sequel to Inception, or about the time traveling elements that people have talked about. All I know is we can all theorize and go as deeply as I can, but at the end of the day, I know it's not going to be what any of us expect, and we'll be the better for it.
Very true. So what is your other ones? 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, a couple more. I'm definitely going to throw Mandalorian season 2. That's fresh in my mind, and they recently released or announced that the second season is coming in by the end of this year. So I know it's the first day of the year, and just last week this show ended, but the way it ended, it's top of my brain. I'm ready for more episodes. I'm ready to see where the adventures take Mando and Baby Yoda next season. And then another little kind of under the radar show. I'm not sure how many people watch this last year, but Umbrella Academy on Netflix was one of my favorite shows, and I'm definitely going to talk about that in the next segment. But I'm super excited for season 2. I wasn't very familiar with the comic books, but I watched the show early. I ended up getting a screener, and I fell in love with it immediately. And I couldn't believe how good it was. And then when I wrapped up the season, it was just it's one of my favorite shows. It was definitely one of my favorite shows from last year. I just want to see them continue that story. Then I'll go to a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm going to put Fast and Furious 9 on this list. These movies are mindless and they're ridiculous, but they always leave a smile on my face and let me have a good time. So I know a lot of people have issues with the nonsense that goes on in the Fast and Furious movies, but it's one of my favorite franchises, and it's one of the most successful franchises today. So I mean, you can hate, but people love these movies. And then my last one, I'll throw a Marvel Studios one on there. The Eternals, the cast, the just the idea in general. This epic prequel type, thousands of years ago in the Marvel universe. The introduction of these new powerful beings. I'm super excited for this new franchise within the MCU, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Nice. There's a little bit of overlap between your list and my list. Okay. I have, starting off, maybe a surprise to some, maybe not a surprise, but the upcoming James Bond film, No Time to Die. I'm a pretty big fan of the Daniel Craig series. I thought they were going to end it, actually, and I could have sworn Daniel Craig went on the record saying he'd rather basically slit his wrist than do the role again. So I was actually really surprised when they announced that they were actually not only doing it, but it was coming out very soon. So I'm really interested in seeing that, especially if it's the final send-off movie before they eventually recast the role, since a year or so ago, where there was actually high rumors before they officially confirmed that they were filming this movie, I guess some high-level rumors about recasting and a short list of a new actor to play James Bond. So assuming this is the final adventure for Daniel Craig's interpretation of the character, I'm really interested in that. Besides that, I was going to say Tenet, but since you said it, I think I'm going to swap it with something else just to mix it up some more. So the Eternals, I feel like I have to add that in just because there's so much that could come out of it, whether it's exploring more of the cosmic side and just in general. The cast is so stacked, the directing, the production team, cinematography, everyone that seems to be involved with this project is pretty top tier. So I'm really anticipating a great movie, even by, I guess, Marvel standards. Besides that, the new Ghostbusters, I'm really interested in seeing. I guess I'd make that my number 3. Number 4, I would do A Quiet Place Part 2. I really enjoyed the first one, and I know the new trailer came out today as of when we're recording, with a larger budget, predicting they could probably do some really cool stuff there, especially world building wise. And then ending it off, originally I was going to say something like Tenet. Instead, I'm going to say WandaVision.
Okay, sure.
Because they just recently announced that they're moving that up to 2020. And it's kind of a little CBM heavy, I guess, for my anticipated movies, but maybe it's because we're in that field, we kind of have to pay attention to it. That's
what we do all day, every day.
Yeah, so it's there's just too much going on with all those respective properties, movies coming out, that I feel like I can't miss it. I'm really eager to know which way they're going to go with it, because some of them, like WandaVision, A Quiet Place Part 2, there's so much flexibility.
Yeah, and they're holding a lot to the vest. We don't know where these things are going. We have, we get little snippets here and there, a set photo or this or that, but we don't really have a full grasp of what they're actually going for. And I think that leads to the anticipation a little bit.
No, it really does. But with Tenet, I kind of want to talk with you about this just a little bit, if you're interested in it. So what do you think Tenet's going to end up being about? Because, of course, Nolan always wants to do something mind-bending in each one of his films.
Right. I think it's – the elements we got – so, in the trailer, John David Washington dies or seemingly dies. It's hard to tell with this kind of movie. It's everything you look at. You don't know if you're looking at the thing you're actually looking at. You're looking at something entirely different. I think the time traveling is going to work in some point. I don't know if it's him traveling through time to stop whatever event that they were referring to, this world-ending event that may happen in the present day. So I'm not sure if it's just a time traveling romp. I'm not sure if it's a more kind of like Inception thing where they're going inside of a different reality or a mind or something. I mean in Interstellar he goes in another reality, and in Inception they go inside of someone's mind. I mean there's got to be some form of reality bending. It's just so hard to understand because Christopher Nolan just his mind is on another plane of existence. And I don't even know if I can comprehend what he goes for until, I mean, some of his movies I still can't fully comprehend. It's just that difficult. Like, I mean, the fact, Inception is one of those movies that I'm a fan of Inception, but it's such a mind bending movie that it's just hard to grasp and to even form an opinion on at some point. So I'm hoping for the best. And I know it's going to be a solid movie, and I'm sure it's going to be one of my favorites of the year. I mean, that's just it comes every time a Nolan movie comes out. That's the case.
Yeah, well, I saw something online where people were saying maybe Nolan's taking inspiration from this not super far out, but still relatively far out theory where I guess during the Big Bang, two different kind of timelines, if you want to call it that, were basically created. One going forwards in time, one going backwards. And basically some people are out there are speculating that maybe with Tenet, what the whole thing is about is the discovery of that second mirror universe where time goes backwards, because technically their past is our future. So if you could access that, you would be able to tell the future, theoretically. Wow. Yeah. That'd be kind of cool, I think. I mean, it kind of makes sense from the trailer because they have that scene where I think near the end of the trailer, the guy's like, what is this? And he's like, it hasn't happened yet. And then the people come like almost in reverse into the room or something.
Yeah, the car. They have the scene with the cars going in reverse.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That's what they're doing.
I mean, I would definitely be interested in seeing something around that idea.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be the wildest thing Nolan's done either, between Interstellar or Inception. So it's definitely believable, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, Tenet definitely something when it comes out, like I'll have to touch base with you on just to see how close some of our ideas might be to it versus just also something as simple as sending a message. Hey, Jackson, do you know what we just watched?
Every time I have to ask someone, what was that? Did you understand it the same way I did, or is this like I mean some of his endings are up for interpretation. Like Inception, you don't know if he's in the alternate in the mind reality or he's out of it. Like there's hints and there's teases, but if you don't want to look at those, like it's left up for interpretation specifically. So it's not like he's gonna. I don't think the ending is gonna be wrapped up in a nice bow. Is all I'll say.
No, I agree. But I guess that's it for this episode. Feel free to check out Jackson on socials, and well, I guess I'll just let you say it since you know the ways to get to you better than I do.
You can follow me at JacksonHayes67 on Twitter. That's where I do most of my social mediaing, and check out my site fullcirclecinema.com, and check out H&E and watch all the H&E stuff.
See, now I'm all revved up from the Star Wars, but
yeah, I know.
It's hard to come past that. Yeah, have a happy New Year if you guys are listening all the way to the end. Hopefully that last topic wasn't super divisive. I guess I'll say that much. Definitely, hopefully it goes over better than the previous HNEpod episode where we had a segment about toxic fandom. That went very poorly reception-wise with a lot of people. Well, a lot of people didn't listen to the whole thing. They just see the title and they react. Yeah, thanks for listening. If you have, go check us out on SoundCloud, Spotify for the full audio version, or if you're listening to the segments on YouTube, check out the other segments. Hopefully you guys like what you guys hear, and leave any feedback in the comments below. We'll see you guys later.